Where are the Star Wars movies? Almost 4 years without a single moment in theaters, surrounded by the smell of stale popcorn and the sounds of blaster bolts, has me wanting a new entry in the saga so badly. But what are we going to get next? We actually have some big news on that. Welcome to Star Wars Uplink, your place for everything Star Wars gaming, the TV shows, and the movies. Mandalorian Season 4 has already been written, and alongside that, we have some details around another Mandalorian coming into the fray. Also, we may have some fun Star Wars celebration news coming soon around the future of Star Wars movies. So, let's jump right in.
Just you reconsider playing that message for him.
Book of Boba Fett. We've both come to appreciate it more. Yeah. I wouldn't say that we love it yet.
Yeah, it's definitely not on my top tier of Star Wars anything really, but yeah. I appreciate it.
It's not quite like a fine wine, but it's like, middle of the road. You probably spent like $25 on it, and you pair it nicely with some meat and that kind of thing. Like that's the level of appreciation I have for Book of Boba Fett now.
Cheap but gets the job done.
Cheap but gets the job done.
What? That's such a weird analogy.
Bespin Bulletin described it as commercially successful. I would say that is an apt description. It wasn't like Andor where it was critically acclaimed. It performed very well. It brought the big numbers in. But we do have some details, according to Bespin Bulletin, around a possibility for season 2. I think us as fans, we all were wondering if we'd see more Boba Fett. Mm-hmm. Maybe we will in season 3 of The Mandalorian, but we also have details on season 4. Why are we worrying about season 4? Season 3 hasn't even come out yet. Mm-hmm. There is a writer's strike that's coming.
Oh.
And that is the reason that it's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to season 4 of The Mandalorian? Jon Favreau has told us that it's already written. Dave Filoni and himself had already been working on the storyboards for it. They've already been in pre-production around the 4th season already.
Oh my gosh. Don't panic.
Pretty much, which is good because a lot of people are like, oh, this is going to get delayed again. Season 3 got delayed because of Pedro Pascal filming The Lovely Last of Us.
The Lovely Last. Yes, indeed.
So that was a delay there, which is why Book of Boba Fett came out. Book of Boba Fett came to fill that void, and that's why they really put The Mandalorian in there so heavily. Huh. So they could only get him for a certain amount of time, and they shot those episodes of him getting Grogu back. And then they're like, okay, you get your Mando fix, and then we'll get the big stuff when the season 3 comes out. It could be something similar to that again. But the interesting thing is, season 4 of The Mandalorian is rumored to start filming in October.
Whoa.
Yeah, so they're definitely stepping things up because there is a second season of The Last of Us that's going to come out. So they know that Pedro Pascal is going to be in that, at least for a little bit. Also, along those side of things, where we get this information from is makingstarwars.net. They are making new armor for Moff Gideon, as well as Moff Gideon's specific stormtroopers.
Ooh.
So wants to follow him around and have something special, as well as a new jetpack for Din Djarin. This is like the real juicy news here, which is why we think that we might be getting a second season of the Book of Boba Fett. They are working on the interior sets of the cockpit of the Slave One, as well as Boba Fett's armor.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Could be that Boba Fett comes in season 4, and that's just what it is. He's going to make a cameo like Mando made a cameo in his show. But considering that The Last of Us is going to get a second season, they probably want more Mando coming out after season 4. And what other perfect way to have more Mando without having all of the Mando than Book of Boba Fett to come in and put the Mando in us?
Yeah. It's a good show to just kind of tide us over, Mm-hmm. I definitely think that we will see another Book of Boba Fett because I feel like we only got a taste in that first season.
I don't feel like we got a good Boba Fett show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We got a pretty all right Boba Fett show.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as focused on Boba Fett as I would have liked to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still feel like they have room for improvement, and so...
Mm-hmm. And there's more stories to tell with Boba Fett. He's a pretty cool character. Uh-huh. He's old now, but he's a pretty cool character. I hope that they would be able to get into more of that because he was pretty awesome in Mando.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more of that side, but also just to see what he's actually going to do and like how he develops as this ruler of Mos Espa. Is that it?
Pretty much, yeah. The daimyo.
Yeah.
As the daimyo of Masespa, what's he up to? What are especially now that he's like gone to Rancor writing status and like he's fulfilled that side of the kid playing with Star Wars toy fantasies that basically spawns anything they do with the Mandalorian and surrounding areas, and basically what everyone did with Boba Fett for years. If you're an older Star Wars fan, or you're more of a fan of the original trilogy of Star Wars and maybe not necessarily watched the Clone Wars and got that part of Boba, you probably have your own theories about what he was up to during that time, and you may have been disappointed by what happened in Book of Boba Fett. But a second season, I think, second seasons usually are better because they don't have to set everything up. You set the first season up for, okay, who are our characters? What's the bad guy? What's the universe? Where are we? And what is our hero doing? Second season, you really get to develop that. It's a lot more. It's the same kind of like in a movie trilogy. With the movie trilogies, the second season, you're able to get more of the main character, more of the interpersonal connections with the character than you would with a part one. I think that's why Marvel has started to more stay away from those origin stories, because we got kind of burnt out with those.
Yeah, I'll be very curious to see where they take a second season, like, because oftentimes if they weren't planning to do a second season and then suddenly there is a second season, it will definitely lead to a third season. So should be interesting. I would like to see more alien interaction, because I feel like this is a really good place to do it. Like, for the Pikes to be coming, like, I feel like we could have gotten so much more, and I feel like
the Pikes weren't a great villain.
No.
Foe.
No. But if you're gonna do that, like, I would like to see some more explanation, or so it's just some more building on the tension, because I feel like the tension was kind of lacking.
Yeah.
So let's get tense here.
I would also like to see more Fennec Shand. I think she was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And honestly, probably the highlight of the show, other than, The Mandalorian, which until Andor came out, Mandalorian, those 2 episodes with Mando in it were like some of my favorite Star Wars, period. So good. But Fennec Shand, on the other hand, too, was like really, really a good character. I love the interactions between her and Boba Fett. She really brought a lot of the fire into the series that you did not get with Boba Fett, because Tamora Morrison's like 60 something, I think now. He's older and he's not able to move as much as he once was. He's 62.
Oh wow.
And you can tell he's an older guy. 60
young.
Yeah. Doesn't quite move as fast as he did into that Sarlacc pit.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some very interesting things that are going to be there, and I'm actually hopeful around a season 2. Kind of like Obi-Wan. I'd be more hopeful around a second season of Obi-Wan than I was. Like, I hated the first season of Obi-Wan. If it's just a standalone thing, it sucks, it's garbage. But I think if there is a second season, I think there is a lot more potential for good stories. Because you don't have to do the whole thing where you set up the character and do all of that stuff. You can really get into the meat of the character development and see what the world is about without having to set it all up.
Yeah.
So we've got these rumors. Season 4, the shows have been big in Star Wars. They're a big thing. And most of what we got from Star Wars recently have either been 1 or 2 video games and the TV shows. But where the heck are all the movies?
Yeah.
Well, we've got some big Star Wars Celebration news. But first, we're going to be at Star Wars Celebration.
Yes, we are.
We are going to have a panel at Star Wars Celebration. If you're going to Star Wars Celebration, join us. We are doing a panel on how video games affect Star Wars lore. I am so pumped. We're going to reach deep into the background and a lot of the behind the scenes and get some really deep cuts when it comes to the video games and how they have impacted Star Wars as a storytelling medium. From the lore that's covered, as well as other video games and how they've impacted Star Wars. I am very excited. Oh, it's going to be so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Very much looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast, and it's going to be a fun time. So if you are going to Star Wars Celebration, first off, hey, come join us for the panel. It's going to be great. Really looking forward to it. We may have some special guests, we may not, but we're definitely going to be diving deep into some fun Star Wars lore from the video games perspective, and obviously gushing around Andor. But yeah, join us there. The second thing, slightly less exciting than us being there. They're probably going to announce some Star Wars movies. Yes.
Yeah.
We have not gotten a Star Wars movie since The Rise of Skywalker.
What?
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Oh my gosh. Oof. Oof.
That will be 4 years this year.
Wow.
Obviously, I doubt that we'll get a Star Wars movie this year, but we're probably going to be seeing an announcement around the slate of Star Wars movies to be expected, and probably the shows as well. You have Bob Iger coming back to the Disney seat, and he is definitely putting more of a focus around the movies, less so than the TV shows. So I wonder if some of those TV shows like Lando might get canceled or just not talked about at all. But they're probably going to update the slate of Star Wars TV shows and the movies. So I want to use this opportunity of what do we know about so far? What are some of the things that we know about are getting, might be actively worked on, might not be? On the might not be side of things, Rogue Squadron. This was shelved indefinitely, and then more recently with the whole DC shakeup with James Gunn taking over. Wonder Woman 3 got canned entirely, and the director, Patty Jenkins, is currently available. And the rumors have said, and she in an Instagram post, they're coming back. They're working on it. They're having more discussions, and there's been rumors around them picking it back up. And that's going to be based around a much more of like, imagine Top Gun, but Star Wars with X-Wing fighters and that kind of thing. That is what I would expect from that. The second one that we know of is Taika Waititi's untitled Star Wars movie, and this is, I think, is up until recently, a lot of people forget about this one, but Taika Waititi was involved in season 1 of Mandalorian and played IG-11, as well as directed a few episodes. As of June 2022, he was still, quote, figuring out what the story is, and was throwing every idea at the wall. And the Hollywood Reporter following that said that it could be starting production as early as this year, 2023, probably later in 2023.
Yeah.
But there are also some rumors that some of the London production company and set builders were working on something that could be a Star Wars project. And many were theorizing that it could be Taika Waititi's. The other one that we definitely know is further along in production than probably Taika Waititi's, and honestly would probably be the soonest to come out, is Damon Lindelof's untitled movie. We don't have a title for it, but he was a producer, co-creator on Lost, and has been a part of the saga in many ways. I think he was a producer on The Force Awakens, maybe? And he also wrote the Watchmen show on HBO.
Yeah.
He did that. He was one of the writers on that. And hey, it also has a director who is the director of Miss Marvel.
Oh.
Charmin Obaid Chinoy, I believe. Probably butchered that, but yes. And also has cast a few leads. There was some reporting on a person of color being chosen for the role, and that's pretty big.
Yeah.
They've got a director, they've got the writer, they've got the main person already cast. They haven't officially announced anything about this. This is all rumors, but they are saying could enter pre-production in April or May, which I think is far enough along now that Lucasfilm, I think, has hopefully learned its lesson and be like, hey, here's everything, and then we're going to cancel most of them. Hopefully that is further along enough that they can announce it at Star Wars Celebration.
That's amazing that we really haven't heard anything about it. Like, what? The rumors, though. Yeah,
tons of rumors anytime there's Star Wars anything.
Do you speculate anything of what it could be about?
From the rumors, it is based after The Rise of Skywalker and will follow a new cast of characters.
Okay.
In that universe.
So it's kind of like a after continuation?
It's a continuation of that timeline. And there've been There's been no rumors around Finn or Rey or Poe or anything like that coming to this show. But there have been lots of fan theories that are like, oh my gosh, does this mean that they're coming back? And I mean, we could pull back from that one lunch that Daisy Ridley have.
It's just lunch, guys.
And that was what? A couple months ago?
Mm-hmm.
Totally could have been like, okay, we're writing this thing, and we have a spot that Rey could be coming into. Are you interested in this at all?
Just lunch, guys.
Mm-hmm. Just lunch. Yeah, so it's going to be in that timeline.
Okay.
It's going to be based around some unique new characters, but they haven't said anything in terms of whether Finn, Rey, Poe, anyone from The Rise of Skywalker would be in it.
Fair enough.
I think that's fine. Mm-hmm. I think the more characters that we have in the Star Wars universe, the better, as long as they're telling good stories and they don't go the MCU route. But speaking of the MCU, we also have...
potentially a movie produced by Kevin Feige.
Yes. This one probably won't see anything for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
It was revealed, I think, in like September of 2019, around that time frame. And it's going to be written by Michael Waldron, who is currently writing Avengers Secret Wars. The reason this is probably going to get delayed for a little while is Kevin Feige, Michael Waldron, they're working on, I think, what is it, Avengers 6 or something along those lines? Like, they're working on getting the MCU back on track, because apparently it didn't go quite as well in Phase 4 as they would have liked, so they're working on redoing a lot of things for Phase 5. But it is, quote, hinted to be a disconnected story, so separate from any of the Star Wars sagas, anything like that, to be more of like a Rogue One or a solo Star Wars story, based around family themes. That's literally all that we know about for this for this movie.
I mean, how typically Star Wars is family themes?
Literally, yeah.
Okay, that could be anything, because I feel
Andor's got family themes. Book of Boba Fett has family themes.
The original trilogy is family themes. Even the
Bad Batch, Clone Wars. Holiday special. Literally everything Star Wars.
Everything Star Wars is family themed. So that's a really broad topic.
He basically just said, guys, I'm making a Star War. Get ready.
Yeah. I mean, even up to the sequels, it's all family themed, because eventually we find out that Rey is
freaking Rise of Skywalker is apparently a family themed movie too. Unfortunately.
We're just getting all... Star Wars is family themed.
Literally, that is Star Wars. Family themes. That's it.
So that was some really good information.
Yeah. We also have an untitled movie from Sean Levy, and this is recent reports. He's the director of Deadpool 3, as well as a big producer and director of Stranger Things. So he's been around that side of things. That's kind of, I think, what most people know him for. But they've been talking with Lucasfilm to get a Star Wars project done. But again, he's busy on Stranger Things, as well as the Stranger Things spinoff and Deadpool and all of these different things. According to this site, he is in pre-production for Deadpool 3, which, as we know, is going to have Wolverine again. So pumped about that. And we'll probably not be able to work on this until late 2024. Probably not going to come out until 2025, honestly.
Really interesting how Star Wars is the back burner for everyone else. Like, everyone's already working on their projects, and Star Wars is like, can you have me? Like, hello? Can I be something? Can I be a movie? Would you do this? It's like, hang on. You're in the back.
One, I really like to do this, but I have all these other things. And I think that just speaks to how big Star Wars is. Like, you're not going to say, yeah, I'll take a Star Wars project and then just, like, spend 30 minutes like, okay, I've directed a Star Wars movie. No, you want to, like, focus on it and make it good. So I think that's one of the issues with it. But this happened with the prequels. George Lucas didn't want to direct the prequels.
Yeah.
He first went to Ron Howard to direct the first one.
Oh.
And he went to a couple of other director friends, and they're like, "Yeah, no, I don't want to work on that right now. It's kind of stressful." And George's like, "Yeah, I know. I don't want to do this. Yeah. It's stressful." And then, of course, we have to mention the Rian Johnson trilogy of movies. That's not going to happen for a long while because he is focusing on Knives Out.
Right.
And those have been doing really well, so I assume they're going to keep on going. And he's doing a show on, I think, Peacock or something like that, where he's got a TV show that's basically like Glass Onion, but a TV show, it seems like. He's busy. He's doing his things. He's focusing on his works. And still, he said he's been interested in it. It's probably not going to be a while before we see it, but he said he would still like to eventually make a Star Wars project.
Apparently everyone would like to make a Star Wars project, but no one's ready.
Yeah, nobody actually wants to.
Yeah.
They want to, but they don't. So there's all of those things that are coming around the corner for Star Wars. And we also have the TV shows. Mandalorian Season 4 is already confirmed, which we knew, but now we know.
Now we know.
Star Wars Acolyte, Andor Season 2, Book of Boba Fett Season 2 possibly, Skeleton Crew, Ahsoka. We have a good amount of Star Wars on our dockets already, but this will definitely confirm they want to do more Star Wars movies, which I'm all for. I love a Star Wars movie. Going to the theaters, it's a magical experience when you go to the theater to watch a Star Wars movie. It's so nice. I love watching with everybody each week on the Star Wars shows, but nothing beats waiting in line with your tickets, getting into the movie theater, trying to find good seats, and the smell of stale popcorn and
fresh popcorn
and watching the Star Wars. So we know that they're focusing more on the movies, but we don't necessarily know what the future of the TV shows are. Obviously, Mandalorian's pumping out money just from the merch alone. Not even the people that signed up for Disney Plus because of it. But I still want to see more Star Wars movies and more confirmed Star Wars movies. Not, Sean Levy will do this when he's ready. Rian Johnson will do this when he's ready. Not, Kevin Feige might do this when he's ready. I honestly don't want to see a Kevin Feige Star Wars movie, but I just want to see let's get some Star Wars on here. Even if it's like Gareth Edwards, he was more of an indie director and he got to direct Rogue One, which was, and for many is still their favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
So if you do more stuff like that, I'm all for it.
Yeah, let's see it.
I just would love to see more of that. And I think they're trying to figure out what they want to do after closing off the Skywalker saga. Finn, Rey, Poe, they're all there still. But I don't think they necessarily want to go down that path.
Yeah.
And want to keep on doing these spin-off projects to get this broader universe and try to find, we've got the TV shows occupying this area. We can have the movies that occupy this area. But also we can do all these other things too. I think that would be good. We'll see. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm excited. I feel like we've gotten a very long, dry spell without the movies. Like, I feel like we're definitely missing out on something. So I hope everyone, all these directors and producers can get their crap together and get us something good. So I'm really excited for Star Wars Celebration to see what it is they're going to let us know is actually happening. I feel like we get a lot of, or not promises per se.
Oh yeah, definitely. They promised all these movies and then they get canceled or they have director problems or all this stuff. But.
Yeah. So a lot of it just feels like we're just speculating. It's like, well, we could be getting this. So it'd be nice to have something in stone.
At this point, we're so burned with Star Wars projects getting announced and never coming out that we're like, okay, fine, I'll see. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah. So, yes, I'm excited to get something concrete, I guess is where my feelings are right now with movies and Star Wars and just Star Wars in general.
I just hope that they learn from their previous mistake of trying to release Solo 6 months after The Last Jedi. I think we need to keep Star Wars these big moments in cinema. Like The Force Awakens was huge, and The Last Jedi was huge. The Rise of Skywalker, unfortunately, was huge. Like these are the things that you go to the movie theaters for. You may like. You're not going to be like, oh, I'll just wait to watch it on Disney Plus when it comes out with a Star Wars movie. You're going to go to the theaters to see it. Like, that is an event. But if they do come out every year or multiple times a year, it's going to be the Marvel thing. Like, do I have any interest in watching the new Ant-Man movie? Kind of.
Yeah.
But I'll just wait until it comes out on Disney Plus. That's what we did with Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
We still haven't seen Black Panther 2.
That's true. Or Black Adam. Man, there's a lot we have to catch up on.
Yeah.
But because it's so frequent, like it's just kind of like, okay, there's another one.
Whatever.
I can pretty much guess what the story's about. So
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess instead of a dry spell, it's more of like it's about time now. Like I'm
ready for a Star Wars
exactly.
movie.
Like I'm actually revving up to get that big production of a movie.
Yeah.
So I guess it's time.
I'm ready. My body is ready. Let us know what Star Wars movies you would like to see and which do you think will actually come out in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching or listening to this episode of the podcast. You can watch it on YouTube with video, all the good juicy stuff on our YouTube channel. And hey, you can pick this up wherever you listen to podcasts as well. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, Stitcher, all the places. You can check us out there. As always, thanks for listening, and may the Force be with you.